guys, I'm going to teach you a strategy called attacking the prompt. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what type of essay I'm writing. So today it's EX expository, so I'm going to explain. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now that I know my purpose of my writing is that I'm going to do a few things to help plan out my essay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross out completely the read. Okay, I don't want my brain to get confused that this is my prompt because it is not my prompt. I'm also going to cross out the think statement. I'm going to cross out all of this so again my brain doesn't get confused because this is my absolute last resort. If I can't think of anything else to write about, I could go back and look at this stuff, but for the most part, I'm just going to forget about it. So I'm going to train my brain to remember that the word write is where my prompt is. So next to write, I want you to write prompt. So this is my prompt. So then I'm going to read it aloud. Write an essay explaining whether a positive attitude helps a person be successful. Okay, so I'm going to have to pick a side in this essay, or I could do a compare and contrast. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to think about is that words that I'm going to repeat in my essay. So I'm going to box those words that I think I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to go into my thesaurus, and I'm going to find some synonyms. But before that, I'm going to think off the top of my head if I can think of any words that can replace these words so I don't become repetitive in my essay. I can think of my audience, which is going to be students. So I'm going to put student. I could use peer. Peer is just another word for people that are in my class. Okay. Then positive, I can think of good or favorable. Those are not the best, but I'll come back to it. Remember, sometimes synonyms for the word is not going to actually work for my essay, so I'm going to have to think and make sure that that word will fit into my essay and to be able to make sense and cohesively fit into my actual example and prove it and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to look up the word successful in my thesaurus. So the easiest way for me is that I use these guide words at top, and I'm going to actually flip through like this until I see the S in successful. Then I'm going to stop when I get close to that letter, and I'm going to use the guide words to help me find the U. Okay, then I'm at SUB, so I know I need to go one more page over. Okay, I'm going to find success, which I find succeed, and I find the word flourish, prosper, and thrive, and I'm going to use those words. Now, I can always go back and add more if I need to. Okay, so I left out attitude. I might want to put look on life. And then helps, I might put attributes. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to add more as I think of them. Hey, remember, every word I get out of the thesaurus, I may not actually use because it may not work correctly. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Be Sure To checklist. This checklist is to help remind me of things that I have to have in my essay. So I'm going to make these into check boxes so I can go back at the end and make sure that I've done them and checked them off. So I want to make sure that I clearly state my controlling idea or my thesis, because remember, my thesis drives my essay. It's what my essay is going to prove. Then I want to organize and develop my explanation effectively. I want to use P, and we'll go over that later. I want to use helps. These are all in acronyms that we'll go over later. And I also want to use my prove it's. I want to really develop and explain my essay, I want to develop what I'm explaining to my reader. I also want to choose my words carefully by using a thesaurus. Okay, then I want to use correct spelling, punctuation, capitalization, grammar, and sentences. So I'm going to move to the top and I'm going to show you 2 ways to remember editing and revising. So the first one is cups, and that's going to be editing. Okay, so cups stands for capitalization. So I'm going to remember to capitalize proper nouns, the first word in every sentence. Okay, then I'm going to look at usage. So I'm going to look at verb usage. Do my verbs and subjects agree? Then I'm going to look for punctuation errors. And then I'm going to look for spelling. Okay, on the revision side, I'm going to use arms. Okay, so I might want to add words. I might want to add sentences. On the other hand, I might want to remove extraneous information like extra words or extra sentences that don't make sense. I might want to move sentences around. I might want to combine them when I move them. And then I want to substitute. So I might substitute words for better word choice or figurative language or sensory images. So again, we'll look at cups and arms again more closely throughout this year. But then after I do that, I'm going to create an insider chart. Okay, so I have a 4-column chart at the bottom. That's going to be my insider chart. So if I'm an insider, I know a lot about the subject. So the first section is going to be prompt. And I always put a question mark because that's to help me remind myself that I'm going to turn the prompt into a question. Okay, the next section is going to be the answers, followed by the help section, and last but not least, the WTS section, the working thesis statement. Now it's called a working thesis statement because it's not my finished product. I can go back and revise my thesis statement to make it more clear, concise, and effective. So it's just like my draft of my thesis, what I think I'm going to go. Okay, so the first way I'm going to think about how to turn this into a question. How does a positive attitude help a person be successful? So if I believe that a positive attitude is going to help someone become successful, I'm going to write, how does a positive attitude help a person be successful? Okay, then from there, I'm going to take that question, I'm going to answer it in the next section. Okay, well, one of my answers would be, well, how does a positive attitude help a person be successful? Well, it's positive self-talk. That reinforces that you can do it. positive attitude can also help you push through. Positive attitude can help you push through hard times. Okay, so I'm going to write as many answers as I can down on the paper. Then I'm going to think of an example, a well-developed example from either history, experience, literature, pop culture, or sports that will help me prove my answer. Okay, so now I don't necessarily have to write down every single one. I just want to think of one really good example that will help explain why a positive attitude can do one of these two answers. Okay, so I want all my things to connect and make sense. Then I'm going to work on a working thesis statement. A person, now remember, this isn't going to be the best. I'm going to make it better as I revise my essay. Can be successful when a positive drives them to. Now I want to say success again, but I'm going to have to think of a different word. But for right now, I'm just going to put success so I don't lose my train of thought. So I'm going to put a star here because I'm going to change it later because I don't want to use the same word twice. But I also don't want to lose that idea. Okay, so this is called an insider chart, and this is how you're going to help plan your essay. So another way I could have done it is I could have taken one of these answers, much like I kind of did on my working thesis statement, and add it in somehow in here.